Alright, we're here at Big Boy Toys and we're going to be talking about indoor RC mini helicopters today. When it comes to RC mini helicopters, you have a lot of choices to go with. You can go anywhere from your 2 channels to all the way up to your 4 channel controlled ones, and so we're going to explain the differences between each one. The first one we're going to talk about today is the original Pico Z, also known as the Airhogs Havoc Heli. This here is a 2-channel helicopter, which means you only get throttle and left and right turning. It sort of wants to fly forward on its own. You can't go back, forward, or side to side. It just wants to gradually go forward. Generally they're cheap, generally they're pieces of crap, and I mean, if you're just starting out in flight, maybe I'd say go for this thing, but this is really a toy, if anything. We go one step up from that. We have another 2-channel here. This is the Airhogs Hawkeye. The Airhogs Hawkeye is notable because it actually has a built-in camera on it for in-flight movies. No sound, of course, and they are shitty quality, but hey, what do you expect? It's pretty decent for an in-flight camera. If you notice, this one has 2 propellers on it. This one's extremely stable because one of these goes one way, one of them goes the other way, and that's how you control your turning on it. It's the same as any other 2-channel, it just sort of marches forward on its own. But this is a good place to start if you really want to get into RC flying. This is probably an excellent way to start as a coaxial 2 channels. We go one step up from that and we're in 3-channel territory. This is where you start getting into your more interesting helicopters. This is a Cyma coaxial. The tail rotor's been twisted upside down and I made a couple of modifications on the tail. The interesting thing with the Cyma 3 channels is you do get forward and backward control. But again, no sliding left and right. For that, we have the big old 4 channels. Yeah, these are the Airhogs Helix 360s. These are the first single rotor 4-channel helicopters in the micro mini size. And these use a swash plate and a voice coil system to push the rotor in the direction that you want to go, and it uses a tail rotor to stabilize it in its turning. This one can go forward, backward, and left, right, and turn either way. And it also comes equipped with a gyroscope so that it wants to lock its heading nicely. So enough of that, let's actually get into flying some of these monsters. You know the old idiom when the shit hits the fan? Well, this is when the fan hits shit. Turn it on here. Turn it on the receiver. And good God, this thing has no tail stabilizer because it's been melted. So this is going to be very interesting, at the least. Oh yeah. That's about all you get without the tail rotor. And that's why we hate Havoc Helis, because they break way too goddamn easily. Next up on the list we have the venerable Hawkeye. These were the first ones that we actually picked up, the first remote control helis that we actually picked up. And these things are really actually kind of interesting to fly, seeing as how they are almost like flying a giant Japanese beetle around. Pain in the neck to get started, and they don't have very good response to them at all. But, like I said, it'll take pictures and video. As with all Airhogs, you have to trim the hell out of it to get it to fly. And honestly, this is about the extent of what you're going to get out of it. Ooh! But they're good learners. They're good to learn throttle control and stuff like that. But eventually you're going to get really bored of these things really quick. So, switch on these is actually really hard to get to too. We are going to move up to the 3-channel Cymas. This one, its forward control actually burned out on me. So I had to flip the motor upside down. And instead of pushing forward to go forward, you have to pull back. So it sort of reminds me of that movie Independence Day. You had to pull back on the throttle to make the... Anyway. One thing I like about the Cyma helicopters is that their control system has a safety function on it. When you turn it on, it's blinking. When you put the throttle to full, it blinks faster, and when you pull it back, it goes solid. Now it's ready to fly. Again, still got to trim it out. Something like this offers you a lot more control, and it's definitely more fun to fly. The only problem is they like to stick to walls because of the ground effects. You get near a wall, one of these you really have no escape. But these things are designed to be crashed. The Cymas are nice, they come with an aluminum body, nice and tough. And actually gets going at a pretty decent clip. Very nice for what it is. Looks like my batteries are starting to go on the controller. Last but certainly not least, we have the new Air Hogs Helix 360 4-channel with a swash plate and a single rotor. And this craft is actually capable of doing stunts. It's not quite like a 3D 6-channel where you could actually like flip it upside down and do this other stuff, but you can do some really interesting things with it when you get it up to speed. They recommend that you launch these off of a flat surface because they are kind of they are kind of unstable in the hover and especially in the takeoff because of the ground effects. Single rotor craft have a completely different flight characteristic than the normal coaxial rotors that you'll normally see. Trim her out, and you see at the quickness of the turning, that's gyro control right there. Now let's get it up to speed and do some tricks. And it'll do stunts like your tail spins and your hurricanes. And this thing is supremely controllable compared to all other indoor helis that I've ever flown. Do a circle straight. I've actually managed to get this thing to stall out once by going too fast and riding into my own rotor wash. So it's entirely possible to actually stall this craft out. Which is actually the first rotor craft I've ever managed to stall out, especially in this size. Oop. Luckily these things are really tough. Get off of there. With these, you actually have a chance to escape the dreaded wall. Another interesting thing is because the way the tail rotor blows, it has sort of a bias to it, the way it flies. And if you zigzag it, you can really get it to go faster than the designers really expected it to. But if you want to do indoor flying, and you're really serious about it, this really is the way to go. And for 80 bucks, I don't think you're going to be able to find a single rotor 4-channel for that price. A lot of people on the forums have said, oh my god, it's too expensive. But if you want to do any of these tricks, any of this sort of flight, you're going to be spending anywhere in the neighborhood of $120 to $160 for something like this. And these you can actually land. But that's it for the helicopters in this episode. So join us next episode when we start looking at airsoft guns.
Chopper I've seen that can recover from hitting the ceiling and really not care.
Yeah.
Did you notice the flight bar's like flat on top?
This thing handles like nothing else.
This is the only helicopter I can fly around in my room without just like completely lighting it.
Right.
I can do one flight. I can launch it from the palm of my hand and fly it around until the battery dies.
Yep.
Without smacking it into a wall, without like tangling it up on my shelf.
You still like stupid shit like this. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna get it into a wall. No, not. It's actually recover right like that.
And if you're getting sucked somewhere you don't want, you can, you can flat strafe any direction you want.
Yep.
You can go sideways, forward, backwards, whatever, just to get away from something, especially when you're trying to trim it, it helps.
I'm starting to run out of juice.
It is a workout trying to keep this thing in frame.
Yep, we're stalling. We're out of juice. These I don't even call these helicopters. These are freaking drone birds. They got 2 props.
Ornithopters.
Actually making ornithopter now. You also notice I took the lights off, so I get nice long flight times out of this.
Stealth chopper.
This thing is a little bit more elegant than the Airhawks, I'll give it that.
This sounds so much nicer. Airhawk is all rattly, this one's all like machine metal, everything glides on bearings and stuff.
Try for a dynamic landing. Bounce. Good. Close enough.
Well, technically you hit the landing pad.
So I can go sideways, sorta.
Sorta.
I have to like go forward a lot first.
You can't do it to unsuck yourself from a wall though.
Yeah, you gotta turn real quick when you get near it. And you're like, ah! Oh!
Cool.